Hello.
Hello Richard, how you doing?
I'm good, thank you. So we're back with your Aston Martin V8 project. So this is part 3. So the last episode, which you can find on our YouTube channel, you installed this bit of metal, which I think is called the engine.
It certainly is, yes.
Engine, and you started on the headers, which are the stock ones. So that's where we got up to, I think, wasn't it?
Not stock headers, aftermarket headers.
Oh, but you didn't make them?
No, I basically bought off the shelf ones.
Yeah.
Just too much time and effort. I can't make them for the money you can buy them.
So yeah, check out the previous video for more on that. So now we're moving on to the drivetrain section, I guess?
Yep, so this is the Z06 Corvette bow housing, torque tube, gearbox and diff.
So previously you mentioned that this was 8 inches longer.
Yeah, it was about, we've only had to shorten it by about 6 inches in the end because we managed to shufty stuff around a little bit and just tweak it.
Shufty stuff around?
Yeah,
Good
move
word.
it.
Move it.
So we've basically, this has been cut apart. As you can see now, obviously it's not been welded back on yet. We've cut it. Martin's machined the old tube out of the rear bow housing so that it can go back together. So that allows us to move that forward by about 6 inches. We've had to pocket the bow housing a little bit to clear the body here.
What's pocketing? Just cut holes?
Basically cut a hole, yeah. So we're going to weld that back up and re-dust it all back in. It just allows us to move it forward by about another 2.5 inches, which then means gearbox goes in, drive shaft angles are back to exactly original.
Okay.
Because what we didn't want to do is put the gearbox back here and have a drive shaft running like that, because that's what the option would have been. That's like 3 inches difference, but I really didn't want to do that. So drive shaft angles back to correct.
So these are the gearbox mounts that you've made yourself?
Yeah, so that's the original Z06 mounting face there. Then we've made this come up onto the original mounting point on the Aston with a motor mount in there.
So you haven't had to modify the cradle at all then?
No.
Oh, that's useful.
I have. I've cut this. I've cut this back bar out purely for getting the box in and out would have been a mission. So what we're doing, we're putting roll cage joints in there.
T45.
We're putting the original bar back in,
but
for roll cage you get like a joint like that overlaps and bolts back together.
Oh,
We're using for removable door bars and that, purely for just to make it easy to get the box in and out. The rear cap is missing off the diff, which has an oil pump built in, but I'm actually not going to run the oil pump on this. Because the point's low here, unless I changed all the fill and drain points for the in and out for the pump. But there's really no, for what I want the car for, it's not doing any long track stints or you know. And I've spoken to a guy in America that's the real Corvette whiz, and he's just like, just don't bother.
Are you going to run a cooler?
No, that's for the cooler. I'm running a gearbox cooler, which is this. That's the original Aston cooler there, which I'll use for the gearbox cooler. Yeah. But for the diff, even if putting a banjo on it, it hangs low and the risk of getting it knocked off. Yeah. And I don't want to have to
especially the ride height you put stuff to.
Well, yeah. And on top, the feed's back in on the top, and the boot floor is. I don't want to start cutting the boot floor and that just for a cooler that I don't need. Yeah. It's thin. I can duck some air over it, so it'll be absolutely fine.
And it's it's good.
It's just, I mean, the C6 doesn't have them. It's only really, supposedly it's there for homologation reasons. They've put it in a track car, but that's basically the rear cap. That's the pump in there. So I'll put a blanking cap over it and just not run it. Okay. I noticed there was a few questions on why transaxles and stuff in some of the comments. I mean,
people telling me off for not knowing the clutches.
Yeah, I mean, see, they're not always at the front. You know, some of the cars, they do run up in the back, so it's not the dumbest question. You have asked some dumb questions, but that's not one of them. Sometimes they do run it at the back. I know somebody put like it's for cooling. It's not really, because they're separate. They're not the same gearbox in diff oil anyway. A lot of it's for packaging, for weight distribution. And also when the pot runs down here, the pot runs at engine speed rather than output speed, so it never sees as much torque as through the gearbox voltage multiply the torque, which this doesn't see, so that can be slightly smaller. There's lots of reasons.
I mean, it moves us on to the next section, which, well, so you've had to shorten this down by 6 inches. What are you having to do about the internals?
The internal, this is basically this is what's inside the torque tube. So that fixes in the end. It's basically...
Is this the engine end?
That is... Yes. No, sorry. That's engine end.
Yep.
And that's where the gearbox drive goes in. It's basically a pop shaft within the tube. Still got rubber donuts, bolt-on balance weights. So I've got to shorten this by the same amount as shorten the torque tube. I'm going to have to do some accurate measurements on this to get it right.
Is this something you can do yourself, or are you going to have to send it to like
No, I'll do this. I'll shorten it. Basically, we'll cut this off, machine this back down to allow the spigot size back correct again, put it back together, I'll tick it back together, and then Dave Mackham, I spoke to them already, and they're going to balance it for me.
Cool. I guess balance is important because of the length.
It is, and speed. I mean, it runs, I say it won't run on like a normal car. It'll actually be like, if it's got like a 0.5 overdrive, it can actually run faster than engine speed, where this can only run engine speed. But it is important for balance, because it'll ruin the car if it vibrates. It'll be horrible. That's the gear shifter.
Because you've shortened it, is that now sitting in the right place?
No, I've got to put this on the Corvette, on the torque tube. It sits like that, right to the side.
Yeah.
It's very offset, but I want it come up in the middle. So I've done some measurements, and basically that can go smack bang in the middle of the torque tube. I've got to make new mounts and that, and then that's the rod that goes from there, basically through the rear ballhouse into the gearbox. I can alter the rod to make it so that fits exactly where it should be in the Aston, and then all the additional gear gauge and everything works.
Easy. So what else have you got to do to get all the drivetrain working?
I think next step really is take it all back out, check that the bellows on the rear is still concentric, weld that on, shorten the pop, and then I want to put some extra sound deadening down the tunnel. I'm not over obsessing about weight. I prefer a bit of extra sound deadening. And
you're going to put any heat stuff in, or do you not really need it? It's
not that bad. I mean, the stuff I use, it's a bit like Dynomat, really. It's just this stuff.
Oh, okay. So it'll reflect some of the heat.
It reflects some. I mean, it's not amazing at reflecting heat, but it's really good at just like deadening the sound a little bit.
Yeah.
And for the sake of a bit of weight, I'm not that bothered, so I'm going to do some of that while it's out.
Yeah.
It has like a foam pad above it as well.
Oh, okay.
Which we'll put back in. And then we can move on to drive shafts. So we've got Corvette drive shaft, which has got the female end here into the diff, which is a bit of an odd fitting. Whereas the Aston one has got this joint, like the Porsche 930 type joint. Doesn't go together. So we basically got to put that end together. What I'll probably do is make them cut them in the lathe, drill them in, spigot them together and weld them together for now.
Yep.
Make sure it all works, get the sizes right, and then Dave Mack makes like proper strong drive shafts.
Because I guess, are these going to be the weakest point of the build, do you think?
I don't know. I mean,
because you're doubling the power.
Yeah, I mean that outer CV joint is potentially weak, but then the splines are the same size as the Corvette. One of the splines is the same, one isn't. The shafts are actually as thick, so they're actually quite strong. Where they look, I mean, it's hard to tell from looking at them, but they look very, very strong. So I'm not really concerned about that.
Oh, so this is where...
Yeah, that slides into there. And then basically everything's got to come back out now. Supercharger can come off. Wiring.
Why are you taking the supercharger off? You don't
port it.
Yes.
I'm going to port it and do some work on that. And then I've done some of the wiring, all the starter cabling and everything goes, it all comes through in joints here. That's all the original cables, that all goes back on, that's all the heavy work cables done.
Are you going to remake the loom? Because I know you said when you originally made the 90 loom, you had to redo it because they sent the wrong one.
I didn't remake it, basically it comes in really thick, this conduit, which is quite good for protective and, you know, in looking after it, but it's so bulky, like really bad. And I spent about 5 hours, well probably more than that actually, taking it all off and harness taping it. It made it super neat and tucked it all in.
Was this the harness tape?
That's like a sheathing and that's the Aston one.
Oh right.
You see this is like taped, it's much neater, and then I can actually like fit it around the engine and get it really tight, because with that stuff it keeps just flexing off and it always rubs, and I just think it looks horrible. So I know it has a purpose, but I don't like it. So do that, and then I need to sort the interface into the Aston.
Which you're going to have to take to Emerald to sort out, are you?
Well, no, they've got the canvas information, so I'll have to get an Emerald ECU. We just use it as an interface, so that does like the canvas information. If I want to run the variable steering, pumps the PWM off that, can run that. It can run the fans and all that sort of stuff. So it just acts as an interface really. We don't use the engine side of it or the you know. So that's the next step really.
Well, lots to do.
Yeah.
Just a small update, I think, because now it's going to be a while probably before a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I mean, it's just got to come apart now and nothing exciting happens. It's just now the actual, this is the bit that it all fits as it should, so I know it actually will work now. So now's the just make everything right really. Cool.
So any questions, leave a comment. Craig will reply as your actual name now, not your son's name or whatever it was.
I don't know what happened. It was logged in as some random name. I don't quite know what that was all about. But
so yeah, so any questions, please ask, like, subscribe, share, and yeah, thanks for watching. See you soon.
At Driftworks, we've helped over 50,000 happy customers since 2004. Our huge online parts store is simple to use, with superb shipping rates to anywhere in the world, and finance options available for UK customers. We live and breathe wheel fitment, so if you have any questions about your own car or any of our products before placing an order, please drop us an email at shop@driftworks.com or give us a call. Thanks for watching.